Hi everybody and welcome back to Nando Dream. In this episode we're going to create a dollhouse miniature living room for your Nendoroids. Basically it's for doll photography purposes, but it's just stinking cute too. First, what I like to do is I like to start with my sketch. Here you can see two walls, each have a window in it, and then a floor. I drew out all this, and I also put the measurements of what I wanted my heights and everything to be. Please pause the video and write all this down because I'm not going to go over it again. The purple underneath each window is just the height of how high I wanted the window to be. Now for this Calico Critter playset, you don't have to buy this, but this is what I'm using for most of my furniture, and it's perfect size for Nendoroids, and everything opens and closes, and it's so stinking cute. The problem is that I don't like the way it looks, so in this video I'm actually going to customize majority of all this furniture. It also comes with like a picture frame and little things that you can create. And yes, the fireplace does work if you put batteries in it. Okay, so now I have already cut out my foam board for my two walls and my floor. And this is a piece of paperboard that I cut out to the size of my window. And I think it was 2.5 by 4. And now what I'm doing is I am measuring the 2.5, I think it was, up from the bottom of my flooring to where I want the window to actually sit on my wall. Okay, and so now that I had it all drawn out, I went ahead and I cut it out of my foam board very carefully. And next what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my scrapbooking paper. I decided to use the brick on my walls because I just felt like it would be cute. I don't know. You can use whatever you want though. I'm going to use my handy dandy glue stick here, and I'm going to glue her down to the inside of my wall. I know my scrapbook paper wasn't long enough for my wall, but I had a lot of excess on the top, so I'm going to cut that off and trim a piece and glue it to the side that it missed. Okay, and so now I've flipped over my wall, and what I'm doing is I'm carefully cutting out the part of scrapbook paper where the window is. Be careful with this because I ripped my second one a little bit, but luckily I could glue it down so you wouldn't notice. Okay, so now that my walls are both done and my floor, I'm going to go ahead and take these popsicle sticks and I'm going to cut them to the width of my window. Basically, I want ledges on the outside of my window. So what I did is I cut 4 of them and I made sure that they would fit snugly together like so. And then I'm going to go ahead and paint them. Alright, now that the popsicle sticks are all dry, I'm gluing them on the outsides of my wall. Be very careful with this, because I ended up accidentally gluing my wall to my, my cutting board on accident. So there's an easier way to do this. Just put the glue on the tips of your popsicle sticks and then put it to the window. Don't do what I did, kids. I also took smaller sticks and I glued them to the insides of my window. This is just a little like border that basically covers up my mistakes on the outside, but it also looks cuter this way too. It actually looks like a real window. Okay, so now what I'm doing is I'm taking my recycled plastic and I'm using a Sharpie, a light color, that way it doesn't show through if I mistake. And I'm just drawing out the shape of my window. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut it and then glue it to my window. Okay, and so now the fun part, gluing the walls to the floor. Yay! Basically, the one wall that is a little bit longer, I think it was like 12 1/4. It's a little longer because it's supposed to go behind the 11 size wall. And I will show you here. Okay, and so now that we have the room part done, we're gonna go ahead and customize this ugly calico critter furniture. What I'm doing right now is I am priming the basically the wood area. What the primer does is it gives it a coat so that the paint will actually stick to it. The furniture is very glossy, so what the primer is doing is it's going to give it a tooth. That way the paint will cling to it and won't crack or fall off. What I'm doing is I'm going to coat it 2 or 3 times. You don't have to coat it that many, but because I'm painting my furniture white, I didn't want to basically, I really didn't want to see any of the color underneath because it's really hard to cover up stuff with white. But yeah, so with this little fireplace, the sticker in the front with the flowers on it, you don't have to prime. You can if you want. That way you can color it. Mine, I'm actually going to cover it with a scrapbooking paper. So I really didn't have to do that. But you can paint your furniture any color you want. I chose white because I felt like it would go better with my aesthetic that I'm creating in my living room. And you can make your living rooms however you want. You could do Pokemon if you want. It's all up to you and however you want to create it. Okay, so now showing you guys how I am priming my couch. Basically what I'm doing is I'm just covering all the pieces that are wood with the primer, and then I'm going to go back and paint them all white. But I'm just basically giving you guys a rough idea of what I'm painting. I'm not doing the bottoms of the little feet because I'm afraid that the paint might stick to the scrapbooking paper and rip it. So I just left the bottoms, plus you don't see that. So I just left the bottoms plain. And I didn't put anything on them, just in fear of that because I wasn't really sure how it would have worked. But now I'm just going to cover all of the wood piece with the primer. Alright, and so now everything is primed and painted and ready to go. Now what I did is I took a piece of paperboard and I cut it to about the length of the couch. Cut out 4 little dowel rods. I cut them to the height that my Nendoroid sits. That way I'm making a coffee table. And I cut out pieces of my popsicle sticks to put on top of the paperboard. And I'm going to create a small little coffee table for my Nendoroids. And I'm going to glue all of these down to my paperboard. Okay, and here's my little coffee table all done. Now I just gotta glue on the legs, which are the little dowel rods, onto the bottom of the coffee table. Okay, so now I'm going to make sure that it sits flat and fix the legs so that they're straight until it dries, and then I'm going to paint all of this white. Okay, so next what I did is I took the really thin popsicle sticks like we used around the windows on the inside. I painted a couple of them, and now I'm going to glue them down and put them around the bottom of my walls because I felt like it was missing something, and then I realized that there's molding usually around the bottom of your walls that connect to the floor. So Now I'm just gonna do that. Okay, so I'm going to recover my furniture now that it's dry. Basically what I did is I cut out bits of pieces where, like the bottom piece I cut out like a square. This piece is a rectangle that covers the front and back of the cushion. And then this one on the side, basically I just cut it, wrapped it around, and cut the sides a little bit to tuck them over the armrests. And then I'm going to cut out the holes for the legs once I get it glued partially. And now I'm just going to go ahead and recover it. Okay, so this thin rectangle piece for the top, I glued each side down. And then I know it's only going to be half of this, so I pulled it apart a little bit before it dried all the way. And then I went ahead and flipped it inside out. And then I wiggle it onto the back of my chair. And it's going to give you a little bit of problems, so very carefully just slip it down. And make sure it's down all the way. And then I glued the pieces on the sides to cover up the edges once I got it all snug. Now I'm just going to glue the back part down. I folded over to make an area for that little arm right there. I fold it around that and then glue it down. And I tuck it, there's a little crease underneath that, so I just tuck it inside of there. Alright, and so in the front area, what I do is I tuck it in the creases and I put some glue there, and then I just tuck it very carefully inside those creases. I cut it a little bit because it's too long. But if you have something pointy and sharp, probably like tweezers or something, to do this without burning yourself with the glue gun, probably be a good idea. Oh, and tiny scissors do come in handy too for little projects like this. Now I just make sure it's all nice and secure. Alright, and so the next piece I put on is the arm area. Basically what I do is I put it on the inside to the length I need it, and then just carefully wrap her around, and then glue it as I go. Like so. That little piece I just cut off at the very end. I didn't know how long I needed to be, and I didn't want to cut it too short. Alright, and so now for the bottom. What I do is, basically I cut it to where the little leg is, and I try to cut a circle around the leg so that it'll wrap around a little easier, but my circles end up being like squares. But it doesn't really matter because it is the bottom. You won't see it. I really did not want to see any of this ugly fabric, so yeah, I decided to do it all the way around. But of course I did this for each leg. And I very carefully, I just glued it as I went. Alright, and so using my tweezers, I try to stick it in between the little crease right there without burning myself. And then I glue it down for the rest of the way. And I see that this piece is still going to be a little too long, so I cut it some more. And then I glue the rest of it down. Stuffing it into the little creases so that it looks like it's actually part of the chair. And that nesting sticks out weird. And that, my friends, is how you reupholster a tiny little chair. Okay, so now I'm going to make curtains to go on the insides of my windows. I chose this pink fabric, and what I did is I took a little rubber band and I tied it around the middle of a square piece of fabric. And I glued a little blue ribbon to the bottom of it just to give it a little something special. And I glued down all of the edges to my fabric, that way it didn't fray. Now what I'm doing is I'm taking this cute little ribbon and I'm going to put it around where the rubber band is and glue it down. And it's going to look like that. And I also took this cute lace ribbon and I put it to the tops of my windows just to give it a little something special and cute to it. Okay, so now what I did is I cut up my aquarium plant and I put it in one of my little wooden pots and I glued a ribbon down to it just to make it look cute so it would fit with my aesthetic. Next I took this little wooden piece and I actually painted it white, put a piece of lace around the bottom of it, and then cut out some of my paper to the top of it and glued little flowers down to create a cute lamp. Next, this is what my finished fireplace looks like. I took this pretty scrapbooking paper and covered up that ugly flower print. And in the bottom, I just took some black felt and glued it down. Okay, so I'm all done now. I put everything into the room and made it to how I wanted it. I added some pillows to my couch. And all of the pictures on the walls are all stickers that I stuck to some foam board and just cut out. Isn't it so cute? And yes, all the little plants are all part of the aquarium things, or they are my little miniatures. The items on the table, they are Happy Places Disney, which I totally just found recently. So I felt like I needed to add them because they're so cute. But that is my finished product. Here are all my little Happy Places Disney stuff. I just recently found them. They are made by Moose. They're actually little Shopkins. They're so cute, and most of them are all Nendoroid size, which is adorable. And like they open and close and everything. Like this cute little book is so neat, and everything basically is like it's functional. So like the teapot opens, and like this is a candy dish, and everything opens. Like this is a little fruit jar on the table, and this little cookie jar opens, little fruit jar, and it actually has apples that go in it. So cute. I forgot to mention before, behind my windows, what I did is I just printed out a scenery from the computer. I printed out a picture of some woods and just stuck it behind my windows. You could put some fake plants on the other side of your window, so you could print out a beach theme or whatever you want, however your living room is set up. It is totally up to you and whatever your aesthetic is for your living room. Mine, I went for a super cute kawaii feel just because that's how I am and that's what I like. All of the stickers that I put up on my walls as pictures and picture frames, I forgot to mention that too. I use double-sided tape, that way I can move them around or take them down whenever I want. But this you can make into the perfect paradise for your Nendoroid. I hope you guys liked my video. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. I am always happy to have new friends. If there was anything that I didn't answer, please leave me a comment down below and I will get back to you. Anyways, but I hope you like this. Have a good day. Sweet dreams.